Good morning, friends. I welcome you all for another lecture on the course Microprocessors and Microcontrollers. In this class, I am going to discuss about the features of 8051 microcontroller. So, my first feature is like this. It is an 8-bit microcontroller. It is an 8-bit microcontroller. That means this microcontroller word length is equal to 8-bit. Word length is equal to 8-bit. What is this? Word length means? Word length means the number of bits it recognizes or processes by a controller or processor maximum at a time. So, in this case, your 8051 microcontroller can recognize 8 bits or it can process maximum of 8-bit numbers at a time. So that it is an 8-bit microcontroller. And coming to next, it has 8 data lines, those are D7 to D0 and 16 address lines, A15 to A0, and all data lines are multiplexed with lower order 8 address lines, that was A7 to A0. Then the multiplexer bus is AD7 to AD0. I repeat, friends, for this controller the number of data lines are 8. That is D7 to D0. In previously I can say that my controller word length is an 8-bit, that means it can recognize maximum of 8 bits. Here recognizes in the sense your controller either transfer or receive maximum of 8 bits at a time. Your controller transfer or receive maximum of 8 bits at a time with the help of data lines. That's why your controller has 8 data lines D7 to D0. And it has a 16 address lines, that is A15 to A0. And here we are applying a multiplexing process between data lines and lower order 8 address lines A7 to A0 in order to reduce the number of pins present in the microcontroller IC. Due to that, we may get the multiplexer address and data bus is AD7 to AD0. That means these are multiplexer lines may act as both the address lines A7 to A0 as well as these are act as data lines D7 to D0 in different time slots. That means here these lines are time division multiplexer signals. That means one time incident that AD7 to A0 is act as A7 to A0. In some other time incident, the same lines AD7 to AD0 act as a D7 to D0. So that is called time division multiplexing. Why we are going to this multiplexing? Only the simple reason is in order to reduce the size of IC. In order to reduce the size of IC, the number of signals of IC must be reduced. So that's the reason. Next, it has a 32 8-bit general purpose registers. It has a 32 8-bit general purpose registers and 4 16-bit special function registers. Those 16-bit special function registers, one is program counter PC and second one is a data pointer DPTR and another one is a timer 0 T0 and another one is timer 1 T1. So it has a 34 8-bit general purpose registers and 4 16-bit special function registers. And next, it has a 4 I/O ports and each port contains 8 I/O pins. It has it has a 4 I/O ports. That was a port 0, port 1, port 2 and port 3. For these I/O ports, each one has 8 pins. For each and every port can go and connect to an I/O devices. Means we can directly connect our I/O devices to controller with the help of these I/O ports. Your 8051 has a total 4 I/O ports. Each port size is equal to 8 pins. And those 4 ports are port 0, port 1, port 2 and port 3. And coming to the next, it has 128 bytes of internal RAM It has an onboard RAM size is 128 bytes and internal ROM size is 4 kilobytes. Whenever this memory is not sufficient for our application, then we have a provision. We can go and connect externally 64 kilobytes of external RAM as well as another 64 kilobytes of external ROM. If you are satisfied with this memory, that instant you need not be go and connect external RAM as well as ROM. But we have a provision. Once the user feel the internal available memory sizes are not sufficient for their applications, then what they will do is they can go and connect externally both the random access memory as well as read-only memory. Your controller may support a maximum of 64 kilobytes of random access memory as well as another 64 kilobytes of read-only memory. And coming to next, its operating clock frequency is from 1 megahertz to 16 megahertz. It has an operating frequency range. But if you go for a controller, the frequency for processors, it is not like that. But here a controller have an operating frequency range that is from 1 megahertz to 16 megahertz. What is the meaning of this limit? In order to proper working of my 8051, I have to go and apply at least 1 megahertz of clock frequency. If I apply at least 1 megahertz of clock frequency, then and only my controller can respond for our commands. And the maximum frequency is 16 megahertz. If you apply operating clock frequency beyond this frequency, then your controller can't to withstand with the frequency. That means this is the maximum limit. Your controller can withstand up to 16 megahertz of clock frequency, and it will respond at least a minimum operating clock frequency of 1 megahertz. You can go and use any frequency between this range. But we are regularly using for our commercial applications 12 megahertz clock frequency. The 12 megahertz clock frequency we commercially use or frequently used operating clock frequency for 8051 was 12 megahertz. That was a theoretical value, but for practical applications, it is not exactly 12 megahertz, it is 11.0592 megahertz. Why we have a difference between a theoretical value and a practical value? The reason for this is, if you go and select, this is your operating clock frequency of your controller, which is 11.0592 megahertz, then and only you are able to get standard baud rates for serial communication. The standard baud rates like 9600, 4800, 2400, 1200, 600. These type of standard baud rates you are able to get in a serial communication only when the operating clock frequency of 8051 must be 11.0592 MHz. If you want to take this 12 MHz as the operating frequency of your 8051, you didn't get those standard baud rates for the serial communication. That's why here you may identify that the difference between a theoretical value and a practical value. And coming to next, it will support serial communication. That's why it will support serial communication. That means generally a processor or a controller supports a parallel communication because it has a good number of data lines. With the help of that, your processor or controller can communicating with IO devices right away. But your all IO devices didn't know some parallel communication. Some of IO devices only knows a serial communication. That means those IO devices can receive bit after bit or they can transfer bit after bit. They can't receive multiple bits simultaneously, as well as they can't transfer multiple bits simultaneously. If I want to communicate with such type of IO devices by my controller or a processor, if that controller or processor didn't know serial communication, definitely I took the help of some interfacing devices between my processor or a controller and IO device. If your processor or a controller tried it knows serial communication, it is an asset for us. And similarly, here our 8051 supports a serial communication, so that I didn't go and use any interfacing device between my 8051 controller and an IO device which only knows serial communication. And coming to next, it supports 5 interrupts. All interrupts are the vector interrupts, friends. All interrupts are vector interrupts. Vector interrupts in the sense the processor can calculate automatically service routine address once it accepts any interrupt. I repeat, vector interrupts means the processor or controller automatically calculates service routine address once it accepts an interrupt. It depends on interrupting device where your service routine is. It can automatically calculate such a type of interrupts we can call vector interrupts. So 8051 supports 5 interrupts. All these 5 interrupts are vector interrupts. Right. Next, out of those 5 interrupts, 2 are external interrupts and 3 are internal interrupts. There are 2 external interrupts for us. Those are INT 0 bar and the second one is INT 1 bar. These 2 are considered as external interrupts of 8051 and the remaining 3 considered as internal interrupts. Those are timer 0 overflow interrupt, that was a TF0, and next one is timer 1 overflow interrupt, and the third one is serial port interrupt. So these are the 3 internal interrupts. And next, it can have 4 mathematical flags and 3 user-defined flags. Here, your 8051 has 4 mathematical flags. These are 4 mathematical flags we can also call conditional flags. These are 4 what we can call is conditional flags or status flags. These 4 what we can call is mathematical flags, that is one thing. And second thing is these are also called status flags. That means these are 4 flags values are automatically set or reset based on the result produced by A. By execution of some mathematical instructions or by execution of some logical instructions by your 8051 microcontroller, these are mathematical flags or conditional flags value make changes to logic 1 or make changes to logic 0 automatically. That's why these are called conditional flags or status flags. What those are 4 conditional flags is or mathematical flags is, one is carry flag CF, and second one is a digit carry DC, and next one is we have a overflow flag as well as we have parity flag. So we have a carry flag and second one is a digit carry in the sense auxiliary carry, and it has a overflow flag, and last one is parity flag. These are 4 flags we consider as the mathematical flags of 8051 microcontroller. These are 4 flags we can also call the conditional flags or status flags of 8051. And coming to the next is it has 3 user defined flags. What is the meaning of this user defined? The meaning of this user defined is these are flags set and reset conditions are defined by the user. But coming to these mathematical flags or conditional flags or status flags, these are set and reset conditions are defined or set by manufacturer. The user can't modify it. But coming to user defined flags, the user can define set and reset conditions of these flags. Such type of flags are 3 present in our 8051. Those are F0, and second one is GF1, and the third one is GF0. These are 3 we consider as user defined flags present in 8051. And next one is it have a 2 16-bit timer/counter circuit. It has a 2 16-bit timer/counter circuits. These are the hardware circuits. These are very helpful to us, especially to making of time delay routines. To making of time delay routines, the timer circuits plays a vital role. And the same circuits also used as event counters to count external events. So later we'll go and see the difference between these 2. So as of now, you remember your 8051 has a 2 16-bit timer / counter circuits. And next, it can have 2 power saving modes. It has 2 power saving modes. That means the power consumption of your controller, we can say by operating of our controller, either it is in idle mode or it is in power down mode. Out of these 2 modes, friends, we can save much more power in case of power down mode compared to idle mode. In later stage, we will see what is this idle mode and what is this power down mode. This type of facility we didn't found for microprocessors, but microcontrollers have a provision. We can operate our controllers in power saving modes. One is idle mode and second one is power down mode. And coming to last one, this 8051 microcontroller was available in 40-pin dual inline package. That means it has total 40 signals. With the help of these 40 signals or 40 pins or 40 lines, my 8051 can communicating with external world. And these 40 signals are arranged in my IC in 2 lines. That's why it is available in dual inline package. These are the different features of 8051 microcontroller. I hope you understand the features of 8051 microcontroller. Thank you for patient listening. We will meet in next class. Thank you very much once again.